Hello, friends. Thank you so much for taking a few minutes out of your day to watch this replay. I am so honored to be here in this group. My name is Nicole Vincent, and I just want to thank Kelly for creating this group and following the promptings that she received to organize it and to invite such a powerful group of people. And I'm so honored to be here. And I love the energy and the movement that is happening from this group. And I love to see all of you guys being on here and engaging and learning and growing and sharing what you're learning, because that's what learning's all about, right? If we gain knowledge and we don't share it, then it's a waste. And so I'm so excited to be here. And my topic today is on learning how to feel, moving from numbness into a state of joy. And this is something that I cannot share without sharing my personal experience. And mental health is so important to me because it's something that I've struggled with for most of my life. And it's something that I no longer struggle with. I thrive with, because I have made so many efforts to grow and to learn in this area. And so I hope that I'm able to share a little bit of what I've learned and a little bit of what I've experienced with you. And I just pray that you will be able to have some kind of nugget, some kind of insight that will help you on your journey, or help somebody that is within your circle of influence to bless their lives and help them if they might be in a space of needing help and guidance. So I love seeing all of you guys jump on here. Please shout out in the comments where you're joining us from. And we're going to go ahead and get started, because I really want to honor your time and keep this nice and as concise as I can, but packed full of value. So we're going to start with little Nicole, back probably about maybe 7 or 8 years old. And my home life, I have 2 amazing parents that love me very much, but really struggled within their marriage. And so they were just people growing and working through their own issues. But it created a lot of turmoil in our home. And I'm the oldest of 4 kids. And this turmoil and all this, the anger and the yucky feelings, I didn't like them. And to keep myself safe, I went kind of into a state of unfeeling or numbness. And I didn't know this at the time. I'm just little kid trying to protect herself emotionally on a subconscious level. But this continued. And as life got hard and as bigger problems came up, I continued to keep myself safe by being emotionally numb. And what that kind of looks like, for those that might not understand what that looks like, it's kind of being emotionally flatlined. Okay, so you don't feel the super sad, you don't feel the hurt, the anger, the lows, but you also don't feel the highs. You don't feel the passion, the joy, the excitement. And so you just kind of become this even keeled person. And not that that's necessarily a bad thing, but it is if you're there without being able to experience those emotions. And so as I progressed, as I went through my teenage years and had some more heartache and more struggles and trials, that numbness just kept getting thicker and thicker. And it wasn't until I was 30 and I had my 4th child, and all the crap hit the fan. And I went into this, and I had struggled with depression pretty much my entire life up to that point, and this numbness. And it wasn't until I was about 30 that I really realized, I'm like, I don't even know how to feel. I don't even know what joy or happiness is. I don't really know what these happy feelings are. I know what the yucky feels feel like, and I don't want to feel those. So I'm just gonna be here in this unfeeling state. And it's a facade though, guys, because if you're in this unfeeling state, you are actually experiencing those emotions. You are just getting them trapped and you're kind of suppressing them. They do come back, whether you recognize them or not. And so I'm 30. I had my 4th child. I was in a severe postpartum depression. I have never been that low in my life, and hope to never be that low again. But it was very, very eye-opening and awakening for me. I was at a place in my life. I had an amazing husband. I had 4 amazing children, but I didn't care about anything. I didn't care about my family. I didn't care about my faith. I didn't care about myself. I didn't care about anything because I was numb. I didn't care. But hitting this really strong depression forced me to feel those yucky feelings. And as yucky as those icky feelings are, of feeling depressed and sad and just darkness, they served a purpose. They helped to wake me up, or start to wake me up a little bit. And so as I went through this depression, and I did not have my natural tools at the time, I did go on medication, and that helped me a little bit to get a leg up, be able to start making different lifestyle choices, to be able to start doing something a little bit different. Because what I was doing up to that point, the 30 years of my life, was not working anymore. It was not serving me. It was actually creating a lot of hurt and pain for myself and for the people that I loved. So I went on the medication, and I was able to make different choices, but I still felt very apathetic, because if you've ever been on antidepressant medication, it can help you not feel depressed, but it kind of helps you not feel anything. So this actually magnified the numbness that I was feeling. And it really scared me, because I got to a state of numb that I'm like, oh my gosh, I am numb. Like, it wouldn't matter what happened to me. I wouldn't give a rat's patoot. And that's not a good place to be. That was a really scary place for me. And so as I was realizing this, I decided to go off the medication. And so I went off with the help of my doctor. And right about that time was when I was introduced to doTERRA oils. I wasn't looking at them for mental health or anything like that. But as I started using them for physical things, I noticed something. I noticed that I was able to feel something. I'm like, oh, I actually feel genuinely excited about this. And I'm going to give a little disclaimer there, especially for those that have known me for a long time. Like from childhood, I can put on a pretty good show. I can act like I think you want me to act. I don't do this anymore, but I definitely did it in my younger years. But as I started using these essential oils, I started noticing emotion. And then I started learning about the emotional connection with essential oils and their properties. And that led me on a journey that allowed me to journey into that state of joy. And so without you guys going on this giant journey, because I'm sure you guys each have struggles, you guys each have hard things that you've gone through, that you're going through, that you will go through, I want to give you some tools and some ideas that can help you help yourself, help you help your kids, help you help your spouse, help you help those that you love, that you're around and you have influence over. So the first thing that I want to share is the power of essential oils. Now, if you're in this group, it's probably because you are familiar with essential oils in some form or fashion. They are great for physical stuff. They are even greater for emotional healing and awakening your heart, allowing you to feel. And so the first book that I want to share with you, I'm going to share a few resources with you. I'm going to share some recipes with you and some different tools that you can actually go and use right away to help you start this progression, okay? So the first book is a book called Essential Emotions, and I know several speakers have already shared this book. This is a fabulous reference book, and it comes in an app too. So if you don't like a book, you can get an app on your phone, and it has that information on it as well. But as I started using the oils, and my first oil that I loved was Digestin, because I had terrible, terrible acid reflux. And the oils were actually helping to get rid of it, and I was blown away. But that was the oil I was using religiously. And let me tell you about the properties of Digestin emotionally and let you kind of see what was happening. So Digestin, the oil, emotionally helps you assimilate experiences. It helps you to adjust. It helps you to feel enthusiastic, and it helps you to feel engaged. Negative emotions that it helps with are feeling apathetic, unenthusiastic, overstimulated, and overwhelmed. And I was feeling all of those. And although I was using the oil for a physical issue, it was helping me on an emotional level. It was starting to open up my heart and open up my mind to what could happen, what I could feel, what I'm wired to feel. Guys, we are emotional creatures. And when we try to shut off our emotions, either on a subconscious or a conscious level, we are doing ourselves a disservice, because emotions are meant to guide us. They're meant to help us. They're meant to help us experience this life and to connect with others. And so that is what helps me, just using oils for physical reasons. Now, I encourage you guys right now, if you're joining me, grab your black spruce. And I know this is coming up a lot, guys. If you haven't noticed that a lot of the speakers are talking about black spruce, it's because it is a powerful emotional healer. So I want you to take the black spruce, just put a drop on your wrist, breathe it in. And black spruce is going to help you open up, be receptive to experience emotions. Now, as you start using these oils and you're intentional about peeling back those layers that you've been keeping yourself safe with, and we're going to talk about what those layers are here in a second, but as you start peeling those layers back, there is going to be some pain. There are going to be some painful emotions that come to the surface. Acknowledge them. Say, oh, I didn't really get so angry about this. Acknowledge them and then let it go. Do not invite that anger to stay with you in your guest room. Do not invite that anger, that resentment, that frustration to stay with you. Just say, thank you for showing up and letting me know that you're there. Now you can go. And there are lots of different techniques and tools and things that you can do to release emotion, but acknowledge it. Don't try to suppress it. So as you are starting to use these oils emotionally to peel back those layers, there are going to be some painful emotions. That's a good sign. It means that stuff is moving. It means that stuff is coming to the surface so that it can be addressed and moved on. Because guys, if we stuff it inside, those feelings are going to come out and they are going to come back with a vengeance. And usually it looks like something yucky physical, like pain, disease, lots of different compromises within our body that just get off and we don't know why. Guess what? It might be all that anger or bitterness that you held on to for years and years and years. So that's a big thing. Notice those emotions as they come up. As you see that anger, that frustration, say, thank you for showing up. Now go. Don't invite it to stay. Don't dwell on it. Don't dissect it. Just say thank you and move on. That's going to be a huge thing. Now, something that was also pivotal for me in learning how to feel, learning how to process emotion, because if you've been numb for years, guys, you don't know how to handle the emotions. When they show up, good or bad, you're like, I don't know what to do with this. And so you kind of have to learn. And this is a book that was really pivotal for me in helping me to understand emotions, understand how they function within my body on an energetic level. And this is The Emotion Code by Dr. Bradley Nelson. You can find this book on Amazon. You can actually get it for free. He offers the ebook for free through his Emotion Code app. So this book for me was eye-opening. Not only did it teach me some new tools, but it taught me some new approaches and new concepts. And one of the main concepts was a heart wall. Have you guys ever heard that term before? Heart wall. Heart wall is an energetic thing that our subconscious actually creates around our heart to keep it safe from attack, from negative emotion. And what happens is when we have a heart wall, if that heart wall is super thick or super reinforced, it makes it near impossible to actually experience good emotions, healthy connections, and with ourselves, with others. And so this heart wall needs to be addressed. And this can be done through reading the book, through finding a practitioner, through lots of different things. But that concept to me is like, oh my gosh, I do. Like I can feel this heart wall. I can feel this barrier between who I am, who I've become, and who I want to be, and who I am and who I want to connect with. And so you can start peeling through those layers and releasing those in a way. It doesn't have to be painful. It doesn't have to be traumatic. It can be smooth. It can be easy. And this book, that Emotion Code book, tells you how to do it. It's amazing. So that was a huge thing for me. Another huge thing for me was beefing up my emotional vocabulary. So this is a tool that you can actually get on Aroma Tools or online, lots of different places. This is just an emotion wheel. And this actually came with the emotion book. It's a little add-on. But I think a lot of times we only think that we have a few emotions, right? Like they have core emotions here, for example, of numb, confusion, control, insecurity, purposeless, sadness, constricted, overwhelmed, upset, unsafe, fear, and anger. But when you branch out, there's even more. So just under the branch of numb are feelings of disinterested, lethargic, isolated, disconnected, unmotivated, apathetic, and irresponsible. Right? Like it's so crazy that we just think of one word most of the time. But there's so many other feelings that we can have connected with those words. So beefing up your emotional vocabulary can be huge because when we can identify it, we can give it a name, we can let it go. If we don't know what to call it, if we can't identify it, it's harder to let go and release. And so by expanding your emotional vocabulary, expanding your knowledge, you don't have to be an expert. Your intuition knows. Just reading through these words and having them in your subconscious, your intuition can draw on that and say, you know what? Let's look at them. I do have feelings of being disinterested, and I'm going to let that go. But when we don't have a word to put to it, how can we let it go, right? So beef up your emotional vocabulary. That is going to help you move from the negative side of having numb, having anger, having resentment, having sadness, whatever your struggles are, into moving to the positive side where you're creating joy, you're creating happiness, you're creating peace, because you've got to let go of the bad so there's space for the good, right? We can't create new things if we're not creating space. So you've got to let go of some of the old stuff before the new stuff can come in. Let's say you want to redecorate your room. It's hard to get the new couch if you still have the old couch in the room. So get rid of the old stuff. Get rid of it. Write it down and burn it. That is an amazing way to take care and release emotion. Use emotion code. Use different techniques of releases. I know we've heard of a lot of great things from the speakers in this group, but release those emotions so you have room for new ones. I want to share a couple blends with you before we go that I felt inspired for this group, and I hope they're helpful for you. And I will share them. I'll create a graphic to share within the group. But if you want to go ahead and jot these down, these are specific for you guys. This is just for you for this group. I've got 2 blends that you can use together as a partnership, and then a diffuser blend to help you as you go on this journey. And these are going to be for 5 milliliter roller bottles. And the first one is to open your heart. And maybe you haven't felt numb, but maybe you felt very protected. Maybe you felt very defensive. This is going to help open your heart so that you can have true connection with yourself, true connection with others, and true connection with your maker, guys. I honestly believe that our ultimate purpose for healing is to be our highest self and be connected to our divine source. For me, that is God and Jesus Christ. For you, that might look like something else. But as we remove that heart wall, as we remove those layers of pain, of hurt, of numbness, we can connect better with our higher power, and that allows us to connect better with ourselves and better with others. So this first blend, 5 milliliter bottle, 8 drops tangerine, 5 drops forgive, 1 drop patchouli, 4 drops in tune. And I know that's roller bottle. Just wiggle the top off and get a little drop or a little pipette and drop those in. Fill it with fractionated coconut oil and apply that over your heart at least twice a day. And you can create some affirmations to go with that, like, I am able to feel and process emotion. I am opening my heart to new experiences. I am releasing the past hurts. Things like that. Whatever comes to your mind, trust your intuition. So that's our heart opening blend. The second blend is stepping into joy. This is going to help you move in the direction of joy and grasping onto that joy. Joy doesn't mean that your life is easy. Guys, I've had one of the hardest months that I've had in a long, long time. but I have chosen joy every single day, despite the heartaches, despite the struggles, despite the trials. And you can have joy in your trials and in your hurt and in your pain. I promise you it's possible. So this is a 5 milliliter bottle. This is your stepping into joy blend. 1 drop pink pepper, 10 drops ylang ylang, 6 drops motivate, 8 drops bergamot, and 8 drops black spruce. Fill that up with coconut oil. And on this blend, I want you to apply it on your wrists. Rub it together, breathe it in, and step into joy. Okay? You can create affirmations with that as well. I encourage you to look up the oils that are in those blends in your emotions and essential oil book. Okay? And you can see why I chose those oils and why they're in those individual blends. Now, this is something that I'm very excited about. This is a diffuser blend. And for those of you that are feeling hopeless, you don't see any light. You're like, I don't know what this chick is talking about, but I don't even have hope at this point. If you don't see any hope, you are in that pit of depression, of darkness, of isolation, of numbness, whatever, start here. Start with this diffuser blend. This is called the Breath of Hope. And put this in any diffuser and diffuse it. You can do this at nighttime. You can do it during the day. 1 drop Console, 2 drops Siberian Fir, 3 drops Adaptive, 1 drop Clary Sage, 2 drops Grapefruit, 1 drop Marjoram, and 1 drop Whisper. And what this blend will do for you in the diffuser, it is going to help you be able to breathe in hope. It is going to help you see some light so that you can take the next right step. You can take the next step that's going to help you in the right direction. And guys, I will tell you right now, for me, when I was in that space, when I was in that pit of darkness and depression and sadness and hopelessness, those little bitty baby steps, like barely, like millimeter steps, counted. They counted. So if it's just, all I can do is get out of bed today, get out of bed today. If all you can do is find one thing to be grateful for, find that one thing. And then the next day, maybe you can find 2 things. But encourage yourself, because guys, nobody else has your back like you do. You have to be your advocate. You have to want something more for yourself. You have to choose hope. You have to choose that there is light and that there is something that more for you. And as the path will be made clear. You will be guided step by step as you connect with your divine connection, whatever that looks like for you. That might be a friend that is speaking with the tongue of an angel because she says exactly what you needed to hear that day. It might be one of the presentations in this group that give you hope, that give you a little bit of light. Take it. Take those steps, but only you can do that. Yes, I will do the blends for you. I'm going to actually create a graphic and I will share it within this group. The diffuser, any size diffuser, whatever diffuser you're using, it'll work. It shouldn't be too strong. I think those are fairly calm oils, but you can use, I would say, any diffuser. So I wouldn't sweat about the size. And I will do a graphic with the recipes and everything for you. So don't worry about that if you didn't get it down. But guys, there is hope out there. You can experience joy. If you don't believe it for yourself, I believe it for you. Lean on my belief, lean on my light, and allow it to give you hope, because you were created to be a joyful person. You were created to be a creator, and you were created to do so much more. You are divine, and there is so much goodness in you. Sometimes we just have to peel through those layers because we've got hurt in the past, right? We have trauma, we have abuse, we have addiction. And there's so many talks within this group this week that are powerful, that will empower you. Find ones, don't feel that you have to listen to everything. Find ones that speak to you, that says, I think I need to listen to that one. Listen to that voice. And I promise you that you will find that next step that you need to take, that next idea that will help you get closer to your best and highest self. I know that this is possible for everyone. I encourage you to find gratitude in what you do. because gratitude, it is like the master key for joy. It can unlock joy like nothing else I have found. And don't forget to connect with your divine source. For me, that is God and Jesus Christ. And if it looks like prayer, meditation, whatever that looks like for you, I encourage you to seek out that source. If you don't have a desire, pray for a desire, meditate for a desire. It will come. And I promise you that your heart will be open. And I promise you that you will experience joy because you were created for that. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to be with me. I would love to hear from you. I do have a group here on Facebook that I would love to invite you to, where we talk about a ton of different holistic topics, ideas, tools, techniques. It is called Holistically Empowered Community. And if you just go to holisticallyempowered.com, it will take you directly to that Facebook group. And I invite you to join us there. We are a beautiful community of God-centered people that are just looking to get to our better self. Thank you for honoring yourself, spending time with us today. And thank you again to Kelly for organizing this group, and thank you to all of our amazing presenters that have been here today. My hope and prayer for you is that you will feel your best, and that you, as you feel better, you can go and help somebody else do the same. Have a fabulous, fabulous Friday. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.